My name is Brian Mason. I'm the District Attorney for Colorado's 17th Judicial District, serving Adams and Broomfield counties. I'm joined today by Commander Alex Condos with the North Metro Task Force and Deputy Chief Matt Domenico of the Brighton Police Department. Today I'm announcing the grand jury indictment of Alonzo Montoya and Nicole Casias on multiple charges, including first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, racketeering, and conspiracy, the latter of which are charged under the Colorado Organized Crime Control Act. Mr. Montoya and Ms. Casias are alleged to have participated in a drug trafficking enterprise which caused the death of this child. The grand jury investigated and reviewed evidence provided by the North Metro Task Force, the Brighton Police Department, and the District Attorney's Office. They deliberated and issued what's called the True Bill on Thursday, September 8th of 2022, and the Chief Judge certified it on Friday, September 9th. My office filed the cases in Adams County District Court on Tuesday of this week. These charges are only allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent unless or until proven guilty. Fentanyl is the most dangerous drug on the streets. It is literally killing our children from every age group. And we will seek to hold accountable those who distribute this poison and lead to the death of others. With that, I will take your questions. Yes.
Yeah, Mason, you had a lot of people working on the deaths in Tower City Fire.
Yes.
And we're still unable to prosecute. What's different from this one? Did you have a tool in this one or some circumstance in this one that was different from the other one? We understand it's hard to prosecute these deaths.
It's very hard. These cases are very differently situated. So this is the culmination of an investigation where a grand jury has listened to all of the evidence, has two identifiable suspects that the evidence supports the filing of charges on. We were not in that posture on the Commerce City case, unfortunately.
What do you mean by that? You didn't have a grand jury? Or what do you mean by
We did not have the evidence to prove or charge anyone with those deaths. And not sufficient evidence. What's that?
What evidence did you have in this one? What was your smoking gun in this one?
Well, the evidence is outlined in the indictment, and I would refer you to that indictment. That's all listed there, and of course that will all be litigated in court. Other questions? Yes?
Is this the first murder charge we're seeing related to fentanyl?
I don't believe this is the first murder charge related to fentanyl in the state of Colorado. It is the first one that I am aware of involving a young child, and I believe it's the first that I am aware of this nature anywhere in the country.
In the country?
Of a child that I am aware of.
Are you talking 12 and under or 18 and under?
This child was less than 2 years old.
But when you look at the country in stats, do you use a 12 and under stat or an 18 and under?
I'm using 12 and under, and again, I may be wrong about that. That's why I say that I'm aware of. Other questions?
Mr. Mason, you mentioned before insufficient penalties for getting fentanyl off the streets. Are you sending a message with this, or is this just normal prosecution?
We're going to follow the evidence wherever it leads us, and we are going to focus exclusively on fentanyl distribution and on fentanyl distribution that leads to death, and take these cases as seriously as we can. This case is based on evidence. It's based on an investigation by a grand jury, and we will now prosecute it in a court of law. Yes?
We saw another name of a child named in the grand jury indictment. Age of that child, and were there any other children besides the two?
I can't expand on that right now. Again, I would refer you to the indictment.
Can you tell us about the night of January 1st? And if you can, because I understand it's under investigation, because it sounds like a lot of people were coming in and out of the house. What I'm interested in is what kind of operation was this? How much did they have that day? Why was it different than any other day? And how much did the child ingest? Are we talking 1 pill, 2 pills? What can you tell us?
Again, I will refer you to the indictment for all of the specific facts of the case. I'm not permitted to get into those details, but the indictment is a public document now, and you can look at that thoroughly, and again, watch as this evidence is presented in court over the course of the prosecution of the case.
Can you tell us when you have a child of one, or how do they ingest fentanyl? Are they finding it on the floor and they think it's candy, or what have you seen in the past, just hypothetically?
So again, I can't talk about specific details in this case, but I will say we are finding fentanyl in everything. No drug is safe right now. We are finding fentanyl in cocaine. We're finding it in methamphetamine. We are finding it in heroin. And we are most often finding it in pills, oxy pills. And these pills, today in particular, are now being manufactured by the drug distributors and by the cartels to look like candy. People are even referring to them as Skittles because they are multicolored, small pills that look like you can just pop them into your mouth, chew them, and swallow them. And that's what people are doing and dying from them. And of course, a child in particular won't know that a small, beautifully colored pill isn't safe to take. And when they take it, they're at huge risk of instant death.
Are there any details you could elaborate on the drug trafficking charge?
So the drug trafficking charges are charged under the Colorado Organized Crime Act. Oh, I'm sorry, the Colorado Organized Crime Control Act, commonly referred to as a KUSA charge. KUSA charges allow prosecutors and law enforcement to look at a criminal enterprise. So a traditional crime, I put traditional in quotes, is one act that happens on one day, perhaps by one person. The Colorado Organized Crime Control Act allows us to look at a range of dates and a operation of several acts by often more than one person over that range of dates. And that's what then leads to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and other things.
I saw a trial date for Mr. Montoya. Is that for this particular, which charge is that for? I saw November trial date.
So this case has just been filed. This case has not proceeded to any particular court date. It has not been set for trial. I'm not aware right now of what you're asking me about. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
In one of the predicate acts, we saw that Montoya applied for a PPP loan. Do we know if he got that money?
I can't comment on the specific facts, and again, would refer you to the indictment.
In custody, out of custody?
Both defendants are in custody. They've been in custody since the original charges in this case. As you may be aware, we did charge these two originally with child abuse resulting in death, but then the investigation revealed that there were significantly larger crimes that needed to be investigated, and that's why we utilized the grand jury. So these new charges have supplanted the original charges, and to your specific question, Mr. Montoya has been in custody since his first arrest. Ms. Casias was in custody, bonded out, and has been rearrested on these new charges. Yes.
It mentions recklessness and dangerous environment a lot in the indictment. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
And again, I know you have specific questions about what happened in the case, and I am restricted by ethical rules for people in my position and attorneys on what I can say publicly about it. But the indictment does lay out all of the evidence, and I would refer you back to the indictment to answer that question.
And it sounds like they, even after the child died, they kept the business going. What do you think about that? A child dies and then you continue to sell poison that killed the child.
My personal opinion about that is not relevant today. But the alleged acts in this case involve a criminal enterprise before, during, and after the child's death. Again, those are the alleged acts in the alleged crimes in this case. Both defendants, as I have stated previously, are presumed innocent unless or until proven guilty.
Is the other child, can you tell us if the other child gone to human services or what?
I can't comment on the status of the other child other than to say that she is safe. Other questions? Thank you, everyone.